Newsfirst, Newsline with Faraz Shaukataly.
This is Newsline Live, and we're broadcasting from the Newsfirst studios in Dorset Street in Colombo, and of course we are part of the Capital Maharaja Group on TV1. Now then, this evening we've got here a former senior lecturer in economics from the University of Colombo, and now he has decided to enter the field of politics. And he is a Member of Parliament representing the SLPP, and he's right here with us in the studio. Very good evening to you, Professor Ranjith Bandara.
Good evening.
And nice of you to take time off and come here. I thought I'd ask you straight away. Obviously, with the world in reverse gear, if you like, and with thanks to COVID-19, the pandemic and all that, Sri Lanka is no different from any other country. Our economy has taken a severe battering. Certain sections of our economy is suffering from more than the others, namely the leisure, the tourism industry. Lots of hotels, all encouraged to have invested millions of dollars, manufacturing and so on. What, broadly speaking, is your government's plan to revive this economy?
Now, the COVID is a global pandemic. You are quite right, Sri Lanka is not exceptional. But fortunately, the impact over it on the economy of Sri Lanka and its people is not that severe. And we recovered almost now at the free COVID-19 level. Yesterday I had a long chat with the senior governor of the central bank. He confirmed that we are almost there at the free COVID situation. But of course, I do have to agree with you, there are lots of issues that to be addressed in terms of economic recovery, and also the bad management of the economy by the previous regime. Now, from 2015 to 2019, if you look at any vital macroeconomic,
all the indicators have been hit,
right, including the economic growth, the poverty, unemployment, you name it.
Yeah.
Therefore, the economy,
I just want to quickly add before my viewers start messaging me and telling me this, and which is that it is not only the economy and the vital indicators,
and then
even things like the legal system, the judicial system also didn't progress very much.
You see that the special, the police division being set up, called FCID, and the special court being set up, and every possible public servant and the politician became victimized. The entire public sector.
Yes. Now, I don't mean to interrupt you, but what I'm saying is that that's almost like a blame game.
And also, this is also very vital, the national security. That is why we had a very serious security threat in April 2018.
It is probably because of all those things that you are today in Parliament.
No, you see, that may be, but of course, the running an economy just because of the COVID is not an issue. There are accumulated impact over the last 4.5 years. What Rajapaksas have done didn't continue. Now, if you take, for example, Port City, completely stopped the operation for 2 years. And they stored excess paddy stocks in Mattala.
Yes.
Right? Therefore, the issues are accumulated. Therefore, handling those issues are not easy or simple. Now, if you take, for example, 60,000 young men and women who graduated from the universities were unemployment for last 5 years.
Yeah.
And it can be a huge social
So what are
issue.
you all doing about it now?
Now you see,
Because I feel that if we start talking about the past, we'll never get to the future.
No.
And President Gotabaya said the same thing at a press
I'm just trying
conference.
to give you the background.
Yeah.
Now, the current president, His Excellency the Gotabaya Rajapaksa, requested general public, trust me, I can bring back the prosperity. And that is where he presented his Saubhagya Dakma.
Yeah.
Right? And very clearly there are 10 different policy mechanism with very refined, defined strategies to take the Sri Lankan economy to the next level.
Right.
And then,
Can I just ask you a very relevant question?
Please.
Because you just said that. I know what you just said, that it's rather focused. They've got state ministers in charge of their own companies, if you like, corporates. And so that's good news because it's focused. In that context, marine, the marine fishing contributes about 2019, around 700 million rupees. What, if you take just that, what steps, what's the action plan to increase that?
now you see, having the ministries, having state ministries, having good people to run doesn't make a sense. What is important is the system. Now there's a proper system in place. You are quite right. The ministries, state ministries and public entities are now running with KPIs. And regular monitoring and evaluation is in place.
Right.
And they have been given targets.
Right.
Now if you take certain subjects given under certain ministries, which are very vitally important.
Yeah.
Why it is vitally important? Now people were criticizing Mati Amati, Batik Amati. You see,
Those were
I mean,
initial reactions from the
you see,
public.
but after 2 weeks you may have felt that, look here.
Well, they've
these
understood it.
Yeah, these are the new way of looking at vitally important sectors in the economy.
We agree.
Right? And again, a president himself sitting at the monitoring, evaluation meetings. And also there's another mechanism in place, that is the presidential task force. That is for two reasons. One is economic recovery, the other one is the poverty eradication.
In all of this, Professor, in all of this, it appears to me that the 20th Amendment, you're probably wondering when we were going to get to that, the 20th Amendment is transferring, bringing back powers to the President, centering the power around the President.
You see,
And do you have a problem with that?
no. You see,
Why not?
now 20th Amendment should be in place because the 19th Amendment came for one simple reason.
So we don't need the Supreme Court.
No, to keep the Rajapaksas away.
Yeah.
And also the independent commission set up as a result of the 19th Amendment. Do you think they are independent?
Why keep the Rajapaksas away?
You see, that's the fear. That's the fear.
Fear of what?
You know, it is completely by the group of vested interest. Now, if you look at the people who involve, the so-called NGOs, so-called independent fighters, media, and you name it. And at the end, what happened? Now, this is what we are experiencing. Now,
What happened was that they didn't
brought anything, but
They
they have
didn't take
promised.
anything
They
to
were
court.
talking about Yahapalani. They were talking about good governance. What the good governance was there? Within 100 days, the biggest robbery at the central bank. I remember you were talking in your programs how well they have organized it.
Well, yes, if not for Newsfirst, I don't think, and it'd be fair to say that if not for Newsfirst, the central bank bond scam, the intensity of the crime against the people would never have been known. And I say that with genuine feeling for the people of Sri Lanka. And I'm very proud that...
Yeah, we must thank to
Newsfirst
you. I mean, you brought
did that.
the different perspective over it.
Yes, but I want to know, that's in the past, right? I'd like to know, as Anwar Kumara said yesterday in Parliament, what are we going to do about getting back Mr. Mahendran? If we can't get Mr. Mahendran back, he's not going to come back.
Mr. Mahendran is not a Sri Lankan citizen.
Exactly.
He was here on a working visa.
Yeah.
Right? He was given special permission to work.
Absolutely.
And whenever, wherever...
But now that he is not coming
former Prime
back...
Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe was in power, he was there. He
Now,
was his
we have
right-hand man.
apparently the legal situation is that you need to give him notice. Well, if you can't give him notice, I suggest that we instruct the Sri Lanka Embassy in Singapore, the representative office there, to place a full-page advertisement in the Singapore Straits Times. Everybody reads the Singapore Straits Times, and I'm not plugging the Singapore Straits Times.
How do you know that he's in Singapore? He's a Singapore citizen.
The Interpol have confirmed that
He's not in
Arjan
Singapore.
Alexander, as his new name is in Singapore. And so it's a question. It's fine if he does. All we have to do an ex-party thing is to give him notice. How about a full-page advertisement in the International Herald Tribune? It's read everywhere in the world. But my point is this. I want to know what it is that this government is going to do. They've got more or less what they want.
You see, the people trusted.
Yes, I know, but now to keep
The
that
people
trust.
have given the mandate over and over 3 times.
Yes, but
The local
they
government-
want to see delivery.
No. Give me 1 second. Local government, the presidential and the parliamentary. Why people have given the overwhelming mandate to Rajapaksas? Because they have delivered.
Yeah.
They have delivered. Now the vital infrastructure is in place. Now it is a matter of activating. Now if you looked at the Colombo port city itself is a different prospect that is getting added to the economy of Sri Lanka. And if you looked at the Hambantota port and Matale airport and the highways and connecting roads, those are quite vital. We need to establish the movements. We need to establish a transportation. We need to cut down the cost of transportation. We need to improve the people's movements. You can't accommodate every single citizen in Colombo, the Western province. Still 54% of our GDP produced in Western province. The cost of living in Western province is quite high.
Let's come back to this, Professor Ranjith Bandara. On Newsline Live, we're going for a short break and we'll be back after this short message. Don't go away. After all, this is Newsline Live.
Newsfirst, Newsline with Faraz Shaukataly.
And welcome back to Newsline Live. We're in conversation with the Member of Parliament from the SLPP, Professor Ranjith Bandara. Now then, Professor, I have had a number of people telling me that I'm interrupting you, but I'm only interrupting you because I want to get to the point. The point is that I don't want to know about the past. The whole country knows about the past. Your party has been elected because of the past and so on, including the security situations, and it is the economy that we want to do. Can I ask you this question? What is the importance of Basil Rajapaksa and the dual nationality matter?
See, these are two different questions.
They're related.
Yeah, but let's look at Basil Rajapaksa first and then the dual citizenship. The Basil Rajapaksa, in my opinion, of course, the many now talked about, quite similar sentiments. He's a strategist. And
So
he's a mastermind.
Do you need to remove the two dual?
No. He's a mastermind. Now in 2015, he was blamed. that the Rajapaksa's defeat was, he is responsible.
Yes, but yeah. I want to know about the two-thirds, the dual nationality and Basil.
I'll come back to that. And then he formed a party. He is the leader of the party, the founder of the party. And within 3.5 years, we control, give me 1 second, we control 84% of local bodies, and we elected a president, the 7th president under the current constitution, and then almost two-thirds of power, the parliament with the power of two-thirds. And the Basil Rajapaksa not only worked long hours.
You said, no, you're still not answering my question about the dual.
He believed in numbers.
Right.
Right? And he could forecast. Now, hope you remember, just before the general election, he was sat at the press and he said, this time, trust me, the UNP will get less than that of the JBP.
Right, but Professor, I'm going to ask you this question. Tell me what the connection is between the removal of the dual nationality requirements or not and Basil Rajapaksa.
You see, from late 1960s onwards, the Sri Lankans were seeking opportunities in foreign countries.
Greener pastures.
Including yourself. You said that you left Sri Lanka 1974.
I went because they changed the education system. Yeah.
And that is called brain drain. Now, don't you think that the Sri Lankans who are living in foreign countries, holding foreign passport, they really love this country, and this is a high time for us to get their service. Therefore, I don't see that there is anything wrong with having a foreign passport or holding a dual citizenship. The Rajapaksas were good when they battled the war. And the Rajapaksas were good when Basil Rajapaksa was running the Economic Development Ministry. The contribution he had made at the lowest level of the economy is remarkable. And why people ask, now high time Basil Rajapaksa to come to the parliament.
So therefore is the dual nationality thing comes up.
Yeah, I mean.
So that's it.
That's it, there is nothing.
Right.
Now, you see this 19th amendment come again to prevent, prevent the progress of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka was the most promising nation in our region, and Sri Lanka set so much of examples. Now, if I get back to you, what a bigger contribution that the Sri Lankans living in abroad, working in abroad, are contributing. Now, if you look at the remittance, not just that people who are working in Middle East, there are so many Sri Lankans living in abroad. They are sending money back to their families. So why can't they come and contribute? Now the expertise, I was away for a while.
Irrespective of the passport they carry.
Yes. And how many times every government came into power, asked them to come and serve the nation. Serving the nation, sharing their expertise, I think we should allow. Now, if that has always been the case anyway. Anyway. Now, you allowed our central bank to run by a foreigner, and you allowed our IPS to run by a foreigner. And you allowed so many foreigners to strategize the economy of Sri Lanka between 2015 to 2019. How many foreigners were working under Honorable Ranil Wickremesinghe?
Honorable?
Yeah, he was.
All right. Okay. I think you've answered that question. Now I want to ask you, as a new entrant into the parliament, are you concerned at all about the concentration of power into the president? Are you concerned that this may lead to a form of authoritarianism? Are you worried about that, or are you more worried about the economic progress of the country?
I am more worried about economic issues, what we are having in this country. Trust me, Mr. Faraz, this is the last chance that we got the economy to make right. Now, if you take Singapore, for example, if you take Malaysia, Vietnam, Korea, Indonesia, Bangladesh, Vietnam, right? You see, the power was in the center. That is how they deliver. Now, 1965, if you look at the situation in Singapore, Singapore was nowhere. Not even they had their own drinking water. Now, one of the biggest trading economy in the region.
Is this
how that was possible? Because the power concentrated in the center. The J.R. Jayabardhan waited for 40 years. He was a Minister of Finance in 1940s. He waited till 1977 and introduced this new constitution. For what? To establish the political stability. We need the political stability as an instrument to move forward with the economic agenda. You can't unstable political situation. Now, say for example, these 4.5 years, if you look at the foreign investment, investor confidence, all that were gone. No one knows who's running the country. We must be able to show that, look here, this is our president, this is our prime minister, this is the way that we are planning to run. Now, if you take Mahinda Chintana, a program, right, starting from 2005, ending 2015, the economic growth, on average 5.5%. The unemployment was lowest. The rate of interest was lowest.
There was no COVID then, I know, but so now we have COVID.
The COVID we had only
Yes,
last
just now.
5 months.
So are you satisfied that the plans that you all have in place will work for
Definitely
Sri Lanka?
Sri Lankan economy will definitely move forward to the next level. That is why we thought of entering into the parliament.
Professor Ranjith Bandara, thank you very much for your time on Newsline Live. We hope that you come back on a program in some months' time when you've been able to show some delivery, and then we'll take this conversation further. Thank you very much. And on that note, that's the way it was on Newsline Live. Take care, have a great night, and of course, God bless.
Ini memang kepada bagian.